Hey, fourth graders. Today we are going to be doing some fractions. Some of this stuff you may remember from last year as well. Today we're going to be doing 287 and 289 and then just a little bit of 6-1. So we on this page are going to be talking about sums of fractions. Super fun, right? How many people like fractions? All right, it says a unit fraction represents one equal part of a whole. A unit fraction has a numerator of 1. Okay, the unit fraction 1 over d is 1 of d equal parts. And that'll make more sense as we get going here. The fraction bar below is divided into 6 equal parts, or sixth. Each part is 1 of 6 equal parts. So notice that my numerator is 1 and my bottom number, my denominator is 6. So I have 6 total parts. Let's keep reading. A fraction is the sum of unit fractions. The fraction n over d is the sum of n copies of 1 over d. Sometimes when they put it in these words, it's a little harder to understand. For right now, I want you to remember that the numerator is on the top. That's why they have an n there. And the denominator is on the bottom. Okay, these little phrases might confuse you, but the top one right here is the number of unit fractions in the fraction. The bottom number is the number of equal parts in the whole. Okay, so for instance, the fraction 5 over 6 is the sum of 5 1 over 6 fractions. Okay, so this fraction is the sum or total of 5 and 1/6 unit fractions. So they're going to demonstrate that. So right here, I've got at the beginning, I've got 5 over 6. Okay, is equal, that's why there's an equal sign there. So it's equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 over 6. Okay, so I could also say, here's another equal sign, that it's the same as 5 times 1 over 6. So the red circles are actually all equal to each other. Okay, it's just a different way of saying it. 5 over 6, and then I can do all the 1 over 6 together, or I can say 5 is a whole number times 1 over 6. Okay? And they have a little description here with the picture down here as well. You can see where they've got kind of this blue bar all the way around the 1 over 6's, right? There's 5 of them, okay, which equals 5 over 6. All right. So we do not have our fraction strips, and I don't think that you're going to need them, okay? So I'm not going to do this part because I think you'll be okay on this page. So we're going to be adding fractions, which we also did last year. We did them just like this because on the ones that we're adding here, you'll notice that the bottom numbers are the same. That means that we need to add the top and the bottom stays the same. So for instance, 1 plus 1 on the top is 2. And then you don't add the 3's. The 3 just stays 3. Okay? So same thing on all of these. You're only adding the top number. Notice that Mrs. Hagen made her fraction bar straight. You can also make it diagonal like this. Let's do the next one. 1 plus 1 is 2. And my bottom number stays the same, so I have 2/4. So however you want to do your fraction bar is fine. It can either be straight or diagonal. So you're going to finish this page, and you will be great with that. And then I want you to meet me on page 289. All right. So we, on this page, are doing the sums of unit fractions. And they do a really nice example at the top. And actually, number 9 is already done for you, but we're going to talk about that one, okay? So your fraction that you started with was 3/4. And so you want to shade, they've already shaded it for you. Okay, they've got 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4, all shaded. Okay, and then when I divide it, I take that 3 and I divide it into 3 parts. I have 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. That, remember how this is the same as this. It's just that we're breaking it down. Okay, then for the last step, I'm taking 3, which is my top number, as a whole number times 1/4. All of those mean the same thing. Okay, and you're going to start to see the pattern down below when we do it. Okay, so let's look at the next one. We have 3 out of 8. So maybe the first thing you want to do is do your shading. Okay, so my top number is my shaded number. Let's put that up here. Top number is my shaded. That's how many parts that you're shading. All right, Mrs. Hagen's going to get her shader ready here as well. All right, so we are going to shade 3 parts. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, that was our first step. We just did that. Now we are going to write, we're going to break it down for our next step on the line. Here we go. And we have 3 out of 8. So that means I'm going to have 1/8 3 times. So I'm going to have oops, got to have black there so you can see. I'm going to have 1/8 plus 1/8. They could leave us more room. Plus 1/8. Okay? That is the same as 3/8. Right there. Good thing there wasn't more than 3, because I don't think we would have fit them in there, would we have? Okay, and then our last step is to take that top number, which is 3. That's going to be my whole number. So I make it bigger. 3, just like they did up on number 9, times, and then what was my fraction? Up here it was 1/4. This time it's 1/8. Just like that. It helps to be able to look back at the other ones, because you can see, okay, that's right. For the second step, we do this. Okay, maybe your first step should always be to shade. Okay, your first step is to shade. Your second step is to break it down, like we did right here. And then your third step is to use that whole number times the fraction. All right, so I'm going to do, let's see here. I think you guys, yeah, it looks like you should be okay. They're making the lines longer when you need to write more fractions, which is nice. Okay, so for number 11, it's 5/5. So remember, your top number is your shaded number. What is my top number? 5. So I need to shade all the parts, don't I? So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. By the way, for the shading, you can use colors like I am, but you could also shade with your pencil. All right. And then you are done with the shading part. And then my lines kind of got a little, not quite as dark there. All right. So my next step after the shading is to break it down into the parts. Okay, how many parts do I have? Look at your bottom number is 8. That means your bottom number is 5. So I need to say 1/5 5 times with plus signs in the middle. Okay, 5 of them. So your bottom number is how many parts you're going to make. Remember your last step? Okay, your last step is to take that whole number. So take your top number, which is 5. In this case, they're both 5, but we're taking our top number, making it bigger, and then times one of these guys right here, times one of those fractions, times 1/5. I think you guys can do it, right? When you get down to the 12, you have a lot going on there, but you'll be fine. So remember that your top number is your shaded number. okay? And so you're going to shade and then break it down and then use the whole number. I think you guys will be great on those last three. I'm excited to see that. So when you are done, we just have a couple little things that we're going to do on the front of 6-1. All right, here we are. Mrs. Hagen's going to cross out a couple of things because we've been pretty busy today. All right, so we are going to be doing, I'm going to cross out these bottom ones. We're going to do 1 through 4. And I will show you how to do one of those, but we're writing the fraction as the sum of unit fractions. So on number 1, it's 2 out of 4, which really means 1 out of 4 plus 1 out of 4. So whatever your top or your numerator is, that's how many parts you're going to make. So in this case, it was 2. So 1 out of 4 plus 1 out of 4. When I get to number 2, I'm looking at my top number and it's 5, isn't it? So I need to write 1 out of 8 plus 1 out of 8 and keep going until you get 5 times. Then on the bottom, cross this out, and I'm going to say that we are only going to do 9 through 12. And that's just adding up the fractions. So for number 9, my bottom number stays the same, and I add my top number. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3, 3/4. And finish those up, you will be good to go. Hope you guys are having a great day.